Yeah, so we are live again. I hope so. Yesterday we were looking into this NextJS app router, so I'm just going to be continuing that, nothing else, nothing much to be honest. That's all it will be. Are we live or not? We have to check whether we are live or not. Yeah, so we are live again. Yeah, we are live. And I have changed a lot of settings in the OBS as well as in the YouTube. So hopefully that works this time. Yeah, we were on the Next.js path, and one of the things that we did, we zoomed out first of all, and we were looking into all this thing in the project structure using our this VS Code, and we set up everything. So basically, what I did, I can just start that, go here, start that. And here's what we actually found using this yesterday. We found certain things in the readme. I made certain observation. One is that the structure of the folder structure seems like kind of like a WordPress. It's the route.ts file, or the route file basically overrules the layout and page file if they are on the same directory, on the same level. Data flow is basically some page, whatever page you are visiting, to the some page layout, whatever page layout of that particular folder structure is, and then root layout. If you don't understand what this is happening and you don't care, well, whatever. But if you want to understand something, you can watch my previous live video. But like I said, it's just a learning process. You won't get much out of it. It's just showcasing how I pretty much learn things in this uh, industry, or you can say how I learned certain new technologies. That's all. And the final observation which I just made, which is that if once the page is fetched, the caching is automatic, it seems. And by the way, this is just an observation and I could be wrong, but this is what it shows based on the console logs that we did. And we went back and forth in the route and the way they were coming up. So yeah, these were the observation. Caching happens automatically and data doesn't refresh while we go back and forth, not do back and forth. Yeah, we can do that as well, but go back and forth using the link component. When we refresh the page, the data refreshes. So yeah, that's all there is to it. As you can see, we went to this root layout page and we found key root page, and then the root layout happens. So the console happens in that order. And if I went to say, can I group this? Can we group these two, that these two open simultaneously? I have no idea. Anyways, I'll figure it out next time. One more thing that I do not like here is in this header. Here, I will give the pixel as this. Yeah, this is much better. Anyways, so when I go to this, like I refresh it, it will say root page and root layout again, because it's a development thing. But if I click on this about, um, anyways, I'm not going to be going deep into it, what I did yesterday. Basically, it should be about page, about layout, and then root layout. And the reason why the root layout is not happening is because it's fetched one time already. But if you refresh it, it will show it. Now, if you go to the home page, only root page will be console logged and nothing else. Now, no matter how many times I go back and forth, there will be no console log. Basically, no data fetching is happening. What we also went through this observation is that for the first time, there's a true server component. For the first time it seems there is a true server component here which does have hydration mechanism involved. And that's about it. That's all we did. I can perhaps make this as say 16. Let's see. No, this is fine. This is fine. I can just reduce this. This is much better. Yeah, cool. Okay. So what I want to actually do today is basically in the next half an hour, because it's very late at night, I'll just do a half an hour situation. I'll just move forward quickly. So we looked into this. Basically, I looked into this layout and page, and there was a folder and there's a folder. This is basically app, and then within the app you have something like app about. This will be the app about. Then there's something called dynamic routes. Okay, this is a project structure. There's a catch-all route, same as before. Then there's an optional catch-out route segment. Don't know about this one. Okay, ID slug and dynamic segments are passed as params props to layout, page, route, as well as generate metadata functions. Okay, we can get that. Then, okay, so it's, okay. So this is taken as a string always, I believe. This is similar to how it used to work in the pages directory. There's a generate static params, which is, yeah, let's do with the routing thing, because I believe all of this will be a part and parcel of the routing. We can just start with the routing situation. The skeleton of every application is routing. Fair enough. This page will introduce you to the fundamental concepts of routing for the web and how to handle routing in Next.js. One thing that I'll do before I even begin this, I'll just remove this, like this whole thing. Like, I don't need this layout for this page at all. This page can have the layout of the existing one. Yeah. Okay. So the skeleton, we talked about that. Terminology. First, you will see these terms being used throughout the documentation. Here's a quick reference. There's an app. Okay, this is a trees thing. There's an app. Then within that you have say block. Then block can have slug, and at the same time you can have a dashboard, which can act as a root, and then that will have analytics, which is leaf, settings, leaf, settings. So basically root, leaf, node. Yeah, it's basically kind of like a binary tree situation where you have nodes and the last of these so-called nodes are always known as leaf node. Okay, so tree, a convention for visualizing a hierarchical structure. For example, a component tree with parent and children components, a folder structure, etc. Fair enough. Component tree, parent and children. Fair enough. Okay. Then subtree, part of a tree starting at a new root first and ending at a leaves last. Like I told you, leaf are always the last node in this tree structure. So in case people don't know, tree data structure can be looked into. You will find as here it is in geeks for geeks. See, leaf nodes. Leaf nodes is here, and all of these are like a subtree. This will be a parent and this will be a root. Root is the topmost thing, which in our case is app. and within that you can have like multiple things, and all of these are edges, level 1 and all of that. You don't have to worry about that. um, Basically it's a very simple data structure. Well, let's say it's a binary tree is definitely a simple data structure. Root is the first node of a tree and all of that. Leaf is the basically a node which it does not have a subtree. Is in a subtree that have no children is called leaf. Yeah, last segment. So in our case, let's say domain and there's a segment and then there's a setting. So setting will be our so-called leaf, right? In this entire path. However, within this settings, if you have password and a profile, then those will become the leaf. I understand it. Fair enough. These are URL segment, part of the URL path delimited by slashes and URL path. Okay, part of the URL that comes after the domain. I should do this. Composed of the segments. The app router in version 13 NextJS introduced a new app router built on React server components, which supports shared layouts. Yeah, we looked into this. We just experimented yesterday about the shared layouts, nested routing, loading states, error handling, and more. The app router works in new directory name app. Fair enough. The app directory works alongside the pages directory to allow for incremental adoption. This is something that I never tried. This is something that I will be trying in the client project that I am working in case I get the go ahead in my job. So because it's a very big project, it's a very big project which I cannot disclose, but basically it cannot, the upgrade process cannot happen in just like this, like a, you know, like an instant like that. So what have to happen is that there has to be a plan, because time has to go and there has to be some sort of like, obviously there will be cost involved of the developers time as well as the business cost and all of that. So we have to proceed with this only incremental thing, but yeah, we have to look into it because a lot of situation is happening on that part. And this is what we think about, like, okay, this is the way. And that's why I'm doing this live thing as well, because I learned I mean, I'm hearing about a lot about this app router, but I want to test it out. Like thing that we did, like, okay, what can be done here which cannot be, like, which is a part and parcel of the pages, can it be done here as well? Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so this allows you to opt some routes of your application into the new behavior while keeping other routes in the pages directory for previous behavior. If your application uses the pages directory, please also see the pages router documentation. I already know that, yeah. Fair enough. The app router takes priority over the pages router. Routes across the directories should not resolve to the same URL path and will cause the build time error to prevent the conflict. Okay, what happens if, like, within the app, if there is layout and page, and within the pages there's underscore app.js and index, what will happen then? Yeah, let's try that out. If I have, say, within this we can have pages, right? And within this pages, well, first of all, what will happen if I just put this? Yeah, nothing happens, so it works. Then what will happen if I say tsx? Should it not be like this? I believe it was only one, no? Let's see. Hopefully it was only one. I completely forgot. Is it like one? Pages. Yeah, it's only 1 year. That's what I'm thinking. Key still. Okay, let's just copy paste it from here. Why type the whole thing? And this will be our pages component. Now, okay, so they have next slash app and they have something called in the layout slash slash. Okay, nothing here. Hmm. Okay. Uh, Okay. What will happen if I have, say, index file here as well? Index.tsx. We can have the same home and we can have home page from pages router. Then we can export the default home. And will we get any error here? Uh, root page, root layout, root page, root layout. Wait, uh-huh. That, like it mentioned, the where it is, the app router takes priority. Fair enough. What will happen if I have, say, contact, because there is a contact uh, thing there, and then I have index.tsx. By the way, in pages you can just have the contact.tsx, contact.tsx, and that should also work. So contact, hmm, contact page, export default contact. Let's see now what happened here. This works. Here, can I go to contact us? See, this is something that I don't understand. Okay, I mean, I just put the contact there with the index.tsx. Why I'm not able to go to that? Maybe if I remove this and I remove this and just have this contact within these pages, will it still not work? Yeah, it's not working. Do I have to recompile it? So I had to recompile it. Okay, what will happen if I don't like delete this, right? And then I again recompile it. Then I go back and conflicting app and page file was found. Please remove the conflicting files to continue. So either that or that. Huh. Okay. Okay. I can remove this and now it works. This also works. This also works. Is the app even running at all? Console pages app.tsx. Is this even running? Let's see. No. So this is also not running because there's a layout situation, or uh, most likely because app is present and within that we have the layout. So that is taken care of the underscore app. So that can also be removed. Cool. So in the readme, um, I can say app underscore app tsx file will not run if app layout tsx exists. Hopefully this is a right observation. And pages index.tsx cannot exist with app page.tsx, right? So if I have to do some sort of like an incremental update, I should be I should either I should not be adding the layout and page in the app folder. I mean at the root of the app folder, and simply just add whatever the specific folder or specific route that I want to migrate to this new version first. And at the end, I should be adding the layout and pages, and then that will uh, automatically make the underscore app and underscore document and index.tsx file useless in the pages. So this is something that I should be doing. Let's just check it out again. I should not have deleted that. If I have this and I can have this. Let's go with this. This is like it can be moved. What I'll do here is I'll just make it like bad page, right? So nothing, I mean, this will not be picked up because it's not page, and this will be picked up. In this scenario, there will be error. Fair enough. Default export is not a React component. Yeah, I understand that. In this pages router, let's go to page router. Where is this page router? Where can I find this page underscore app? Yeah, here it is. I can just copy paste it again. And now it is home. Why? Okay, so this is coming up. This is it. And because, wait a minute. So like since page is not found, it is not even caring about the layout, even though it is here, right? Default export is not a React component. Yeah, I understand that. Let's do it again. Connected, fine. Yes, it is not caring about the layout. Like since index is like page is not here, so it is not even caring about the layout either, which is funny in a way. So this line is bad. Yeah, this does not happen. Okay, I can remove this. The observation is pages index cannot coexist with this. If pages index exists, then app layout is overruled in favor of underscore app tsx, which is inside this pages. So this is one of the observation here. And then I can test it out whether this will work or not, and that will be using something called within this app I can wrap it around uh, header, right? Header and footer. Okay, like so. Will this work? Yeah, it works, but it is not. Where's the styling? The entire styling just went out of the window for some reason, even though here we have this styling. Hmm. We have this styling, but there's no styling here. Let's see if I do it inside this index itself. Right? Yeah. So styling is also not coming if I just transfer it from there. Like, no, this should not be happening now. Styling is like, oh, okay. I got it. The problem is not this. The problem here is that uh, we have to import the styling here as well. Completely forgot. Now, in this sense, this works, but then I should be doing something like style, and then within that I should be just dragging this right here. Here I should be doing like, yeah, one thing is not working, which I am not able to understand is I mentioned this path, but the import is not happening in that like criteria. Anyways, I can do it like so, and then I can go with this. This should take care of it. Similarly here as well. Yeah, don't save this. Right here, and hopefully this will take care of it. Cannot resolve. The path thing is the JS this configuration now. So why it is not able to resolve this? This is, I didn't even do anything here. It's just a node. During the setup process, this is the thing. Hmm. Okay, never mind. This should work, and I'm pretty sure I have to add the same here as well. Yeah, now it is working. Now if I go to about page, that should come from the app thing. This should come from here, there, here, there. Okay, something is happening. There's a constant reload that is happening over and over again for some reason. Why is there reload happening again and again, even though the header is basically the link? Yeah, I should be asking this. I have no idea why this is happening. Uh, Observation is that link component doesn't seem to work properly during, if I use both pages and app structure. structure. It is working like basic A tag. Let's reload this and do this. NextJS App Router. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. So, what is happening here is that about is from coming from this so-called app, and this has this all this layout and everything. So this is being taken as different app in itself, whereas pages has contact and this. So basically within this pages thing, there's a working situation. The moment I go to app, then there's a reload. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Vinod. They are being treated like different app itself. So whenever you go back and forth, it has to load completely. Yeah, fair enough. One thing that I would like to know basically here is that what will happen if I like don't have this layout either? Will the about still render or not? Yes, it will still render, but layout kind of like acts as a layout, but it will still render because page is still present for the about. So that means in app directory you don't even need the top level page in itself. If you don't want to, you can just completely skip it. You don't also need top level layout either, because if you have a bunch of folders each with different layout, you can just go around and do that situation. This is funny. I mean, this is good and bad. I cannot think of a root like a scenario where I will might need that. Oh, okay. It will generate the layout tsx by default even if I rename it. So layout is necessary. Pages is not necessary because that is not generated. Your app about does not have a root layout. We created a so like please don't like, okay, this was good, but the observation that I made just a moment before became wrong because I did not see that. So fair enough, I understood this one. I can just copy and pasta here the entire thing, and I can just remove this layout completely, and then we can do something like remove this entire pages thing as, yeah, we can just let it be. Contact can remain there. I can just remove this app. I can remove this as well, and we can just rename it back to page, and this should do it. Back to business, I believe. Yes, it works. Okay, thanks, Vinod. That's I'm sorry, but your that name and that photo speaks for two different memes for some reason. Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving forward, I guess. Check the server page if you are new to server components. Docs app building your application rendering. Yeah, this is something that I never liked about anything in any documentation, is that when you are going through some of the things, when you're talking about certain things, don't keep me jumping from one link to another, because then my mind's become distracted. And nah, yaar, I'm not actually a student. I'm actually a working professional. I'm just learning this app router situation because I have to upgrade the current existing pages app and move on with the industry in next 6 months or something in the one of the client project, which is quite big. So I'm not a student. I am a working professional, right? I know everything about that needs to be known in terms of app, in terms of pages. I mean, not in app. Like in theory, I know what it is because I have been reading about the uh, RSC things, or the things that were written by Dan and everyone. But yeah, I'm just going through this app one right now. Yeah, what I was talking about, this server thing. So when you have these sort of like links, what eventually happens is that there's not a flow. The flow completely like stops, in my opinion, and then it is like bad thing, because right now what I'm looking into is like, okay, by default components inside app are React server component. Now the moment I see this, I want to click it. The problem with this is that I'm not able to like move my mind in this illusion of knowledge phase, where it says, where it uses certain words as a placeholder, which it will come back and look into later in scenario. This is how I believe the like the documentation where the linking is done, it kind of like makes it kind of like bad in a way. But yeah, I understand why they are doing it, because okay, this exists here, you can just go and check out that. The thing is key, I don't want to check out right now, and this is something that most people who are reading the documentation, if they do not do it, they should be doing it. Use the new terminology as a placeholder till you actually reach the point where in the documentation, in the linear documentation, you arrive at that point, and then you go back and see, read this part again, and then you understand it back and forth. So I won't be looking into this React server components yet, even though I learned about it, like what it is based on from 2020 onwards, it was going on in terms of all this in the GitHub at least. So yeah, this is the performance optimization and allows you to easily adopt them. And you can also use client components, fair enough. Server components, client components. Then we have a file system based router where folders are used to define routes. A route is a single path of nested folder. Yeah, we already know that. Following the file system hierarchy from the root folder down to the final leaf folder that includes a page file. Yeah, got it. Files are used to create UI that is shown for the route segment. Again, it is somewhere in our so-called documentation. I'll just keep it as a placeholder in my mind. I have to look into it sometime. Okay, the slash in the home page is app, and then dashboard is dashboard, settings is settings, and that's a URL path. There's a root segment, there's a segment, and there's a leaf segment. Okay. To create a nested route, we already did it with the about. Yeah, we did it with the about. You don't have to do it like this. Then there's a file convention. NextJS provides, we are in the routing, right? Yeah, we are in the routing. A set of special files to create UI with specific behavior in nested route. Layout, shared UI for the segments and its children. We already tested it. Then there's a page thing, which is unique UI of a route. I just before I go forward, I should write that observation. App and pages are considered two separate projects in themselves. So the seamless transition in link terms will not happen. Now the question here is what happens to the global states in this case. This is something that I need to ask. Because then it will make a problematic situation given if the app is so big. What will happen to the global state managements and all of that? Will that be transferred as well, or will that also just leave? Because now if we have like two separate projects, shouldn't that completely go with it? So what I'll have to do is test. This can be like to do situation test with the stand later or redux toolkit later. Stand or redux toolkit later. Fine. This has to be tested. This is going to be a very big pain if that's not how it happens. Unique UI of the route and makes route publicly accessible. Loading UI for this segment and its children. Like I will have to find all of this. Like fair enough. We check this, we check this, we check this. But these, yeah, we will have to find what happens then. Component hierarchy. The React components defined in special files of a route segment are rendered in a specific hierarchy. Fair enough. There's a layout. Then after layout, there's a template. Then the React error boundary. Then there's a React suspense boundary, which is loading. So if I just have this, say, loading TSX or loading page, do I not have to define fallback explicitly in this suspense component or what? Maybe I have to check that. Not found is again React error boundary, pages and layout or nested. Okay. So there's a layout, then there's a template, then then what's the use of template? If there's a layout, then what's the use of template? Then there's an error boundary, which is fallback of error. Then here it says I have to define it as a component. So if I have to like define it as a component after importing it, then I don't see why we have to have a file dedicated to it. I mean, I can just create any component and that should work, no? In a nested route, the components of the segment will be nested inside the components of its parent segment. So layout error loading. And then we have layout error loading page. So layout error suspense, then layout error suspense page. Collocation. In addition to special files, you have the option to collocate your own files, component styles, test, etc. inside folders in the app directory. This is because while folders define routes or routes, only the contents written by the page or route are publicly addressable, not routable. Yeah, we talked about it in the previous stream as well, just yesterday. If we have a specific names for each of the file that the React will understand, then any other file which does not have the same name uh, basically becomes non-routable, and then that means that the components as well as the styling and all of those files can be located within the same folder where we are trying to use it. I think that is what collocation here means, and exactly that's what we did with the header and footer, which are the two components which we just defined and utilized within this layout yesterday. Okay, where it is, app building your application. Once we go there in the routing collocation, we can look into it. There is a docs, there's an app, there's a routing, then there's a collocation. Are we not going directly in the collocation? What will happen if I click here? Where am I? In the project organization, no? So it will come. Advanced routing patterns. The app router also provides a set of conventions to help you implement more advanced routing patterns. These include parallel routes and intercepting routes. Parallel routes is basically allow you to simultaneously show yeah allow you to simultaneously show two or more pages in the same view that can be navigated independently. You can use them for split views that have their own sub navigation, example dashboard. So are we talking something like this? Celidraw.com, I believe. Are we talking something like, if we have this as a view, then say this is one view and this is another view, and let's assume this is the address bar. This has say slash dashboard. You can go with this and say this has slash, I don't know, blocks, something like this, and the address bar will be either like domain, whatever the domain is, okay, slash dashboard. Even though they are actually being shown on the same view meaning this layout, even then if I go to this blocks somehow or click anything inside this block, say there's a link which is being shown here, then will it become block slash say one while the dashboard still remains up here, something like that. I'm hoping it is like that, but I cannot think of any use case right now which you will need to do anything here, right? I just can't. Also, yesterday I created this which I completely should have saved, which is to say there's a header, there's a header, right? Then there's a footer here, then we can have say any sidebar, then we can have right now as pages, a page. This should also be like grouped. But more than that, I wanted to have a save of this. I can just move it down, and right now I can just do this one more time. Remove this, put it like so, and that's about it. This should do it. So export the image, make it dark, just export the PNG. There are a lot of things here. Yeah. So what I can do is go to the desktop, which is completely like simple, and next to, then simply I can go and save this as well, which has to be like what? Damn it. Shift E. Next one. And finally, there should be this. I don't know whether this is right or wrong, but if I'm understanding this thing as correct, wow, I cannot even speak it correctly, then most likely this thing which it says here, parallel routes, is exactly that. We'll learn about it. I'll just go through it later, but right now I am just going to give myself a kind of like an imagination point. Then intercepting routes allow you to intercept a route and show it in a context of another route. Can use this when keeping the context from for the current page is important. Seeing all tasks while editing one task, or expanding a photo in a feed. Okay. Okay. Not able to understand much here, but we'll see. It will be coming here somewhere eventually in the routing intercepting scenario. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. Now that you understand the fundamentals of routing and follow the links, fine. Let's go with the defining routes. We recommend reading the routing fundamentals. Already did it. Then creating routes, we already did all this routing scenario. What I'll be doing is that this is already done. This is already done. This is already done. Most of them. Special page file is used to make the route segments publicly accessible. Fair enough. This has to be like copy pasta right here because this is important. And in this example, this URL path is not publicly accessible because it does not have the corresponding page file. This either the page file or the route file, either of them has to be like page JSX or TSX file, page or route file. I'll just mention it like so. Then it becomes publicly accessible, that particular routing. Creating a UI, special file conventions are used to create UI for each route segment. The most common are pages to show UI unique to the route, and layouts to show UI that is shared across the multiple routes. So this is something that is important. Again, pages are unique route UIs, and layouts are shared parent child children UIs. I hope I understood correctly, but this is what it is. Pages and layouts. I should not have drunk so much Pepsi. Yeah. The app router inside NextJS introduced new file convention to easily create pages, shared layout, and templates. This page will guide you through, blah, blah, blah. This is one of the fundamental problems with us developers, is because most of us, I believe, came from the gaming background where we never learned or read any sort of stupid documentation about how to play the game, and we always just went directly into it and tried to figure the game out by ourselves. And growing up, we wanted to become this so-called game developers. Then once we grew up, we realized it's a very hard thing to do, so we just jump into any of the other domain of existence in terms of development, and we never left that stupid mindset of never reading the documentation. Yeah, but I think that's what makes us what who we are: developers, engineers. We never read documentation. And here I am reading the documentation. Page is a page is a UI that is unique to the route. You can define pages by exporting a component from a page file. Use nested folders to define a route, and page file to make a route publicly accessible. App directory, already did it. This is a UI for UI, already knew that. This is for the dashboard, fair enough. Page is always a leaf of a route subtree, okay. While extensions can be used for pages, but not, it is not saying anything about TS, so maybe that will not work. Let's test it out. Why not? I can just do this, and it just collapsed, right? Yes, it collapsed. What will happen if I like JS is understood? Yeah, no, let me be doing this. Yeah, JS is understood, JSX is understood, TSX is understood, not TS. TS is basically for something else, I'm pretty sure, because there has to be some sort of like conflict there. A page JS file. Okay, this is also can, yeah, TS is for the routes. Yes, TS is for the routes. That is also, I believe, why it is not accepting in terms of pages. Pages are server components by default, but can be set to a client component. Pages can fetch data. Okay. View the data fetching section for more information. Okay. If I have to set like fetch certain data, what I'll do now, I can hopefully do something like this. There's this thing called JSON server, I believe, JSON DB or JSON server. Here it is. So it's a very simple thing. We can use a JSON file for the sake of we can use a JSON file as a DB. So here's what I'll be doing. I'll just create a db.json file here, and then I'll add this as JSON server, and then I can just watch this within I can watch it within this. Where should I put it? Yeah, let's put it in outside itself, here only, db. So it's already there, I mean. Here I have to define something like this. So now I have to do users, then posts, and that should be it. For the post, I should be doing something like can, like, can you give me something, Copilot? Title, post 1, description. This is post 1 disk body, and yeah, this should do it. maybe, yeah, let's go with this. Similarly, here I can say this is fine. This was good. Good. Can we do like John Doe, John at the rate Doe.com, Jane at the rate Doe.com, and here I can do something like John, no, John at the rate Smith.com. Phone can be anything, I don't really care much, but yeah. So this can be our database. And where is this file called package.json? Here we can have JSON server, and this can be import number. I'll do it import number 5000. Watch it. This is fine. Then I will do something like JSON server, and here we can say get x blah blah blah. If I go and get the users, I will get the user. If I go and get the posts, I will get the posts. And if I go and get the post as 1, I will get the ID of the 1. So fair enough, this is like working fine. I should just start the live learning and start the tab again, because I stopped that, and reload it. Cannot read properties of undefined reading. What happened? Is it because of that JSON file? Exclude it then, no? Exclude the file. Let's see. Reading client modules, whatever it is, I don't have any idea. Pretty sure it's the JSON problem. Yeah, it was a JSON problem. So we just excluded it, and this should be working now. What I can do in this thing itself, let's create a new folder. We can say it's post, or we can say it's a blog, and within that we can have one page.tsx file. We can also have say layout.tsx file, and then I can say blog layout. Here I have to okay, react.react node. This should do it. Right here I have to have, okay, header, and that is also already there. But like if I don't define header in this layout, then the problem I will face is like, why can't that layout, like there should be some way that that layout certain things is also present here, I believe. Okay, what I want here is that there should be a top level blog heading. There should be, I want something like this. This is a blog. The header should be here. The footer should be here wherever they are. There should be a navigation problem like part right here. I should do it like so. And then here I can have my page, which will keep on changing based on the params that I will be firing here. Now if I don't supply like the page, like if I want this to be like as a layout in a way, then this and this can be in the layout. Or if I just have the page, then this and this will already be present. But then within that page, uh, if I have a slug, then that let's say that's a page, but I won't be able to do this anywhere. That means that I have to have a page where all the post shows. Hmm. Layout is a UI that is shared between multiple pages on navigation. Layouts preserve state, remain interactive, and do not re-render. This is a thing that has to be taken understood. Layouts can also be nested. You can define a layout by default exporting the React component from this. I understand that. So they preserve the state and do not re-render. Put it inside this readme. This is like fair observation. And let's start with this. Um, Here I will need like a container which will be display as flex. So I will need a section that will have sidebar, and then it will have children, which will be our page. So I can have a sidebar within, and then I can have say sidebar. Then I can have, you know what, I don't like this copilot that much, because like I'll just disable it, reload it. Yeah, and return this as if this is a sidebar, then that sidebar has to have some sort of like a prop segment, because we are fetching the data here. Let's see if I go with this default block layout, right? And here I will be fetching the data. If I have to fetch a data, then I will need this as async. Okay, async works. Then this will be say blocks. I can go to the DB JSON as like post. So await fetch. If it's just post, http localhost 5000 posts. In one segment we can do await, await. You await this. You then do the JSON. If I'm correct. Let's check blocks. And then I will also pass the blocks as in blocks here. And where is the sidebar? Right here. Here I just say blocks. For now, the blocks will be the type, which can be defined at the very bottom, which can be interface of, let's go with the type of block, and that will be id, which is string. There's a title, which is string, and then there's a description, which is a string, and this should now be array, which is block. Fair enough. And then we are returning kind of like a list, which will have links, not like so. And this link will be towards this. If I'm passing the entire blocks here, that will be a bad scenario because of all the data that will go there. Maybe I should not pass the entire blocks. What I should be doing is map this blocks. For now, let's just look into this way. In this, we will get only the blog itself, the blog itself, the blog itself, so that each single part has only just blog rather than the entire thing. Then we can have this deconstructed as blog id, title, description. Most likely I don't need this description. Then here I can have this id, and here I can have the title, and that should do it. It should be this as a sidebar. Blocks as map blog. This has to go back. We can look into it later. Optimization scenarios. This is working fine. Yeah, key should be id, and this sidebar will come here now. I have to export this. Blocks should be blocks, and then I need the children. Rather than contact us in this page, in the header itself, let's have blog, and here will be blocks. It's not a React component in page. Async promise all. The default export is not a React component in page. Okay. Obviously, there's nothing here. So like that is a page segment. So I can say let's block page section. Default block, and this should do it. Failed prop type. The prop href expects a string or object number instead. Where have I gave you the number? This is a string. Okay. This should be like so. Shouldn't this work by default? Now this is if I'm doing it inside this like layout segment, shouldn't this already be like taken care of? I don't know. Now it's a block 1, block 2, block 3, and we have this. Yeah, so I don't need this header and all of that. I can remove this header, I can remove this footer. Moreover, I think React fragment is fine, and then this becomes like so, because in one of our scenario we talked about this. It already has a header, it already has a footer, and then we have this layout within the page, so it does not need this header and all this thing. It will have it, and then we can just take care of it. Yeah, so if I go to this blog post 1 now, yes, now it will be asking for this ID or something. But what if I want this section based on what I have selected here to change? Yeah, just this one line actually does the trick, so I can just remove it. And if you look here in our console, there's nothing here, which means ki everything here is just server. uh so I have this. I am saying ki I will have this in this section. What I should be doing is flex, then I should be having a gap of 4, and then I should be having a justify between, and the items should be at the start. Yeah, this works. And sidebar is like fine, but the I don't like this big of a thing. Like if I go to this page rather than main, first of all it should again be a segment with flex of 1, and then it should be a block, and now it is fine. So this is fine. I hope this is like what it is all about. Thing is, when I click on this, like at the very top, uh like okay, I don't understand the point of this blog page. Let's say if it has every pages, but if I want something like a sidebar scenario and I don't want anything in this part, and the only thing that I want in this part is that when I click on this, this should work. This should change. So let's see. If I have the ID, and then within that if I have page.tsx, and then I can have a single block that will have a params, right? And that params will have ID as string, because that's what they said in their documentation, how this will come up while we were going through in just hour before. And then should I fetch it again? Maybe I should fetch the single block again based on await fetch http localhost 5000 posts, and this will be our ID, and this will have to go like so. Right, and this will be JSON. The thing is, there's a chance, okay, this could be async. What is this? Cannot find the file name ID. Oh, right, of course you don't find it like so. Okay, so this is a single block, and then okay, export this as well. Export is as single block, and then I'm saying in this section I want this as a section where I want the single block can also be like it is any, which is bad. There's no way to do anything about it, or what? Like if I go to like a sidebar, I can just copy pasta this. I should not be doing it, like there should be some better way here, but whatever. Then it becomes single block is declared, that's fine. Then it kind of like becomes ID, title, and description scenario. Here it is, huh, that's also the case. And here we can say h1 as text, 4L Excel, font bold, and title. And this will be text LG. Text LG is fine. Font sans is fine. Text slate should not be like dark, completely dark. I want it like so. And then it should be description. Most likely this should work. If I click here, yes, it works. And that's exactly what I wanted in a way. Post, and this is post 2 bodies, post 3, post 1, fair enough. And if I go to this blog as in blog, what I can do, can I just not just remove this? I don't want it. Can't I just remove it entirely? And then the problem will be like it will be on us then, whether like, okay, if I want a sidebar situation, then too I can do some sort of like a styling segment and all of that. Like okay, sidebar exists, and then we can select it from there, or we can in this layout, I mean in this header itself, we can just say just go to the first thing always anytime I click on that, so that page will never even be available, and this will be the page that will always be available, and then it will never go to like blog. Yeah, that should do it for today. I think till this point I can be like okay, fine, fair enough, this is like working fine. Everything is on the server itself. One thing that I would like to know is the there's only one thing that I would like to know now, which is let's go to the pixels.com, highest resolution something like that, like what Okay, so tomorrow is Raksha Bandhan. Let's go with the Raksha Bandhan thing. And now videos, image, leaderboards. Let's go with the home. I need some extremely high resolution photo, like which is like big photo. Shoe size. No, I need like a big photo. Is there not a big photo? Original. Okay, let's go with this. Let's call it test, and we will have to move it then from desktop. By the way, thank you, Samail. I hope I pronounced your name right because I'm coming from, I'm pronouncing it exactly how I heard it in one of the games. Sorry, but thank you, Samail. Samail John Butler. Hope it is the right pronunciation for this image. And yeah, let's go back. We can just close that. Let's go here, open a new one, move it from user, users, Saurabh, uh, desktop, uh, 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 like what it was test, yeah, test. And then we will be moving it to live learning src. Yeah, just move it there for now, and then we can just close everything here. Yeah, I don't understand why this keeps on opening. Like, please don't open whatever is happening on the next now. That's none of my concern, right? So either it is creating within this static, within this server, within this app, in this blog, it is creating a pages by default. Yeah, it is creating the pages. Even if I'm removing it, it is creating it somehow. But I mean, yeah, it's not like it is not creating these things. It is. Fair enough. Fair enough. Within this block, we have somewhere this test file. Okay, now I will just pull it here, and not here. I mean, I'll just pull it in this app. Then in the page itself, where we have this home, we'll do the image component. And from there, we will say src. We'll say test.jpg. Then alt will be uh, big image. Let's give the width as 1920 and height as 1080 pixel, and that's about it. I don't want to do much. What will happen in terms of like fail to parse if using relative images must starts with slash or absolute URL. Yeah, I am using the relative image now. What happened? Also, I want the quality to be completely like 100, no reduction there. Why is it not able to like get this? Like image is not working here for some reason. I'm pretty sure that I'm missing something because it's 12 in the morning. Uh, let's just do this. Fail to pass next image. If using a relative image, it must start with leading slash or be in absolute. Okay, leading slash, then I'm going inside this src, then I'm going inside this app, then this. Do I have to put it here only? And then simply do the leading slash and that should do it. Yeah, that did it. Also, these two are like so. So let's call it flex column. Cool. And this is something that I can just remove. And this is a very big image that I want. I can just remove this as well. It's just a big image page, like a big image page. If I open this, this is like a whole quality. What will happen if I don't set, like, what was this? Okay, I cannot do this. Like, I have to see what is the exact resolution here. I have to open it in like folder, then properties, details, 5995 3664. Okay, 5995 and 3664. Cool. Do it again. This is very big image that is coming up. Okay, so it has a certain criteria. It is not going above that. Fair enough. But let's go to the network tab. Image is coming up. The resource here is 9.5. Yeah, first let's do the build. I want to check something, whether it is like what is going to be the score if it is so big of an image. I'm pretty sure there's no such thing as like a JS related problem. It's going only to be a image related problem, and then we will try to fix the image related problem using the image related web performance solutions, and we'll see whether that decreases the hour score or whatever. I think it will take a lot of time. Yeah, thank you, Vinod. I kind of like got that. Like, but shouldn't, like, why should I be I understand. There's a assets folder within the public where you can actually store the fonts and all of that. That works. Or we can have, in most production app, it is coming from some sort of like a CDN anyways. So that kind of like works as well. So yeah, that is pretty much understandable. Did it work or it is still building? Should I stop this? No, this is different. It is still building. What? Why are you requesting? Okay, there's a problem fundamentally from. Yeah, it is here now. Okay. Uh, Build it again. My internet is fine. Seriously, what is happening? You know what? Never mind. I will remove this. Within this, there's a layout. Let's just remove this whole thing. Remove it. I don't need it. Remove this. Okay. Can we do it again? Like, let's build it. This should build now. I don't want the enter whatever the Next.js is doing internally. I just want it to build. Yeah, now it is building. I wanted to stop at 11, but here we are. Okay, so huh. um static pages. There's a server page and then there's a static page. Static server. Okay, server. This is a server page. Yeah, because it's a slug, so right now it's a server, but I'm pretty sure we can do something like get static paths in this as well. uh we'll see tomorrow, but right now there's a page this as well, the routes page. There is first load JS is shared by all, but like, why do we need the first load JS? Okay, it is, you know what will happen if I don't even have this pages itself? Just delete the entire thing. We are not looking into this anyways, right? uh and then we can just go ahead and delete this. and then build it again. Let's see. There was a first load JS because pages was present. I am pretty sure about it. Or maybe I'm just wrong. I'm not using anything related to much about React till now. And there's a lot of problem that happens when third party analytics tools and all of that just jumps in. Okay, so it is still showing this. Okay, I don't understand why we have this. You know what? I don't want the pages to be here at all, no? Uh, do it again. There should not be any pages here at all, so there should not be that loads sharing and whatever the thing it is making out of the box. I simply want things to be here. So but this is still smaller than this for some reason. Yeah, it will keep on creating it. Even if I don't have it, it is creating it. But anyways, this thing is like still bad in a way. Maybe if I have the error page, it will not do that. PNPM, I'm using PMPM, and is just an alias, is an alias for me in my ZSRC. Huh. Okay, let's just check the thing that I want to check. I'll look into it tomorrow again. There has to be something else. If I go and just now refresh this whole thing, I have this, and this is now what? Yeah, this is fine as well. But if I just zoom out at 25 and then reload it, what is the resolution? Still the same. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Now go to the inspection tab, go to the lighthouse. In the network tab itself, let's get it outside first. Then in the network tab, I'll disable the cache. Here I can say slow 3G, and then I'll just refresh. So it is as 1.8 MB over the network, even though it is WebP image, and here it is 1.78 MB, which is a JPEG image. So JPEG is, I mean, there's nothing changed in that scenario. Not to mention, uh, you know what? Let's go with the lighthouse. Do this thing. and see what happens. Then we will build one more time, just once more with the priority and all of that. I'm pretty sure it will be bad. We will supply the width again based on what we need. Let's say I need only 960 more. Most images are not that big. Let's say I need 980, 180 or something like that. But see, this is a problem. 19 seconds is an average time a mobile web page takes to load in around the world, and 3 seconds at max, 2 seconds is what a user will want your site to load. That is like a 17 seconds of delay, and by the time they are at like 3 seconds, by the 3 seconds timeline, if your page does not load, they just leave. Okay, so this is an out of the box performance of, first of all, let's just note throttle there. This is an out of the box performance. Okay, and as you can see, this is the problem. This is fine, this is fine, I understand that this is a problem, and one of the ways that you can actually fix it is, well, properly size the image. Was lazily loaded. This is also a problem, and properly sizing the image. So let's do the two fixing here, two fixes. One is, we'll say that I don't want an image which to be reduced. That's also fine. Third, if we just make it as priority true, so there's a image fetch priority property within the web standard of images which we can just utilize, because this image is in the viewport, so this should be fetching it by default, like though. And again, go here, go to the where you can actually find this is, if I go to say performance tab. Okay, there's no such thing as performance insights here, which is bad. In Google Chrome, there's now a new section which is like performance insights, which is very good. Anyways, let's click on this record button and I'll just refresh it. What happened? In the performance tab, click reload or hit this to record a page reload. Okay, it is profiling this. You will see there's a problem here which is loading and everything. Thing is, if I just make it like so, we will see that within our network, these are all done in parallel, and then by 500 or 600 milliseconds we get our first these things, which are or priority RSC components, right? But if I like go and do, where is the image is coming right here in the network itself. The image is coming after the chunks are loaded, and then that makes, when the image is finished, that makes where the LCP ends. And if you look here, this is where the LCP is like ending after everything is like done. The new performance thing actually does it better, right? User journey. Yeah, the new performance tag, performance insight tab does it better, but we have to just make do from this. Yeah. Now let's see what happens. By the way, the light score was 48 or something after our changes here, like fixing this and adding this as true, at least we can see what will happen in terms of lighthouse score. We can go with the lighthouse again, select the mobile, analyze, and see what is the situation now. See that 1% increase in revenue is a lot. Imagine that your revenue is somewhere around 10 crore or $1 million. Then in a very rough estimate, let's call it 1 million is equals to 10 crore rupees and all of that. Prevented load with an interstitial. Make sure you're testing the correct URL. Wait, what? I am testing. Damn it. Yeah, we are here. Right? Now analyze it. The average user device costs less than $200. That means the average user devices are completely, I don't want to use that word, but it's very bad, right? There's a lot of things that, like in real world scenario, physics is one of the limiting factor of performance. See, nothing here changed again. See, it's still the same properly sized image. We already had the properly sized image. We already have the WebP, but for some reason this is not working. And by default, Next.js should be able to, based on the viewport of the bit, it can do something, but it is not doing that. It is, I don't know why it is not doing that. At least the FCP is fine. And yes, this is a chaining scenario, which is like the CSS. If we can not, like if we can parallelize it or something like that, maybe it will be able to do much better. We will have to look into it. Like I will have to look into it. Render delay is one of the most, like this is on the server. We don't do anything about it as a front end people. Load delay is basically is like near zero. Why? Because we just mentioned as priority as true. So that means it is now going in parallel. Load time is basically once it starts, like how much time it takes for the image to load on your web browser and all of that. Render is basically once the image is with the with the browser, how much time the browser is taking in order to render that element on our page. Accessibility is also fine. Bad practices, like I don't even have much here. Yeah, okay, that will be it for today. Most likely I'll just do it one more time later, sometime, maybe tomorrow, maybe after that we'll continue this journey. Also the HTML, like the entire course series is coming up again. The editing of the video takes time, so yeah, there's that scenario. And I'm not quite entertaining in terms of like I cannot make things up. I'm very like to the point person, so I will try to do that. I will try to explain as much as possible, but yeah, there is a caveats here and there. Okay, bye.